Blessings, everyone. Okay, I've got some really good news for you. I received a message from a brother who is really, truly missed by many. So the good news is he's still here and he's working behind the scenes. And I just wanted to bring this forward and show you and share with you, how we all work and how it all comes together for one cause, one mind. Okay, and I'm really trying to show the Spirit and how the Spirit moves, good and bad. And here is where we are all together as one Spirit, within one Spirit. And I hope to prove that. And I believe it was our beloved brother here who is a true friend to everybody here. And I just want to show how he is working behind the scenes and that he's never left. And again, I want to thank you for giving me this encouragement to move forward with courage and confidence. Because I really didn't know what to do. So let me just get started here, okay?
You're exposing really the true enemy because you have. So we are exposing really the true enemy because you have people saying, well, looking too much into the satanic, it's not Christian. Well, it's Christian to prove things. And that's what we do. We are proving things, and to prove, they're only going to believe by seeing the people that are, people that are falling into the snare of Jonathon Kleck. They will only consider what we are saying only if they can see proof visible. So that's what we're giving them. For example, V for victory. They are using that. Where it's coming from. We are having to go into searching into the satanic stuff to prove where it's coming from.
The symbology for the enemy is this. Have y'all ever heard of the goddess Victoria? Go look at your Nike clothing. Nike is the goddess Victoria. Nike. Victoria. It's a goddess of victory.
It's from German, back to Germany, back to Germany. When there are the same thing, repeating, coming back always to the same source, then you can bet that it's the source from where it's coming from has to do with the intention of the person that is using it. So if the stuff from Jonathon Kleck is coming from Germany, then his intention has to do with the spirit that goes with it, not saying that all Germany is evil, but specifically insisting that his name was coming from Germany and it had significance because also it was from Germany. Then you can bet that the intention is linked to where it's coming from, the source.
So I look down here and I see military, a German military term for the emergency fighter program. Again, movement. Finnish volunteers trained in Germany as Jägers during World War I. A short-lived German military football club active during World War II. What was I reading, about Frankfurt? The March 2008 about the scroll that was opened up. It was FC football is where I found that. And it was in Frankfurt.
German military force. The force to put it in place. Military. German. The spirit, of Hitler, Holocaust, of the Jews. And also, entertainment to lure people mind into the message idea that they want to use to trick how they think.
praying to Roman gods that they've given a name of a saint. That's all they're doing. Roman Catholic Church. It's really ancient Rome and all their pagan gods.
Okay, so I just want to come back here. I'm going to chop it up and explain a little something that's going on here. Now, Jean, you said you were moved by Spirit to do this. And you also said that, well, maybe you might find something yourself, and take from it. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. Because when I saw this black here, this right here, it reminded me of that black square. That was a painting it's in a museum. And I didn't know much of it. I didn't think very much of it. It was in passing when I saw this. But I knew there was something dark about it. But I didn't get into it. I just kept going. And so now I'm back here again. And so I took a little art lesson through this. And so here we have, it's called the Black Square. And the artist here, I will be introducing you to the author of this Black Square. Also, this is part of his art. It's the white on white where you've got the frame, but again, you have another square. And then here, you've got the squares again, the black squares. So it really does promote this author and what he believed. Okay. So I went straight here. I punched in on Google, and I got here the New Yorker. Now I stayed with the New Yorker because it had all the information that I was looking for. Okay, so it had all the information I was looking for, and I'm not going to go through it all. I'm just going to read some so it gives you an idea about what I'm talking about, this black square. I also find it's really important to understand too that when we're talking and looking at Jonathon Kleck, all he talks about is art before and after. Before he was saved, after he was saved. And art goes along with entertainment when it comes to movies, music, this sort of thing. Okay, so this is all one. So I put this all together with Jonathon Kleck. Okay, and you'll understand why as I go down and read it to you here a little bit. All right, so I'm just going to be real quick, and I'm going to try anyway. Okay, so again, keep Jonathon Kleck in mind when we're talking about the art and the meaning and what's behind the art. So in 1913, 1914, 15, the exact date is unknown. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Malevich, a Russian painter of Poland descent, took a medium-sized canvas, painted the white around the edge, and dabbed the middle with thick black paint. Any child could have performed this simple task although perhaps children lack the patience to fill such a large section with the same color. This kind of work would have been performed by a draftsman, could have been, and Malevich worked as one in his youth. But most draftsmen are not interested in simple forms. A painting like this could have been drawn by a mentally disturbed person, but wasn't, and it's doubtful that it would have had the chance to be exhibited at the right place at the right time. After completing this simple task, Malevich became the author of the most famous, most enigmatic, and most frightening painting known to man, the Black Square. With an easy flick of the wrist, he once and for all drew an uncrossable line, of the old art, new art, man and his shadow rose and his casket between life and death, between God and the devil. This is very striking to me because, again, this goes back to the Aztecs, math. Okay, in his own words, he reduced everything to zero of form. Zero, for some reason, turned out to be a square. And this simple discovery is one of the most frightening events in art in all of its history of existence. Malevich, too, knew what he had done. A year or so before this significant event, he also, with some of his friends and like-minded peers, participated in the first All-Russian Congress of Futurists. It was held at a Dachau in bucolic wooded area north of St. Petersburg. They decided to write an opera called Victory Over the Sun, and right there at the immediately got to work on carrying out their plan. Malevich was in charge of the scenic design. One of the set pieces was black and white, and it somehow resembled the future, still unborn square. It was used as a backdrop for one of the scenes. What spilt out from itself from his wrist, impulsively and with inspiration, later in his St. Petersburg studio, was recognized as a fundamental achievement of theory, the apex of accomplishment, a discovery that critically mysterious covenant point at which, because of which, and beyond which, nothing exists and nothing can exist. Groping about in the dark with the brilliant intuition of an artist and the prophetic insight of a creator, he found the forbidden figure of a forbidden color, so simply that thousands had walked past it, stepped on it, ignored it, not noticing it. To be fair, not many before him dared to plan a victory over the sun. Not many dared to challenge the Prince of Darkness. Malevich did. And just as is supposed to happen, it created tales of yearning and of bargaining with the devil. The master gladly and without delay whispered in the artist's ear the simple formula of nothingness. By the end of that same year of 1915, the First World War was already in full swing. The sinister canvas was displayed alongside others at a futurist exhibit. All of his other works Malevich displayed on the wall in the traditional manner, but the black square was afforded a special place. As can be seen in one of the surviving photographs, the painting is displayed in the corner under the ceiling. Right there it is customary to hang Russian Orthodox icons. It is doubtful it eluded Malevich, a man well versed in color, that this paramount sacred spot called the Red Corner. The word red here is the original Russian, having the additional meaning of beautiful. Malevich quite consciously displayed a black hole in a sacred spot. He called this work of his an icon of our time. Instead of red, black, zero color. Instead of a face, hollow access, zero lines. Instead of an icon, instead of a window into the heavens, into the light, into the eternal life, it was gloom, a cellar, trapdoor, into the underworld, eternal darkness. Malevich, an excellent artist in his own right, as well as an art critic, wrote this about the painting. The black square in a white frame, this is not a simple joke, not a simple dare, not a simple little episode which happened at the house at a field of Mars. Rather, it's an act of self-assertion of that entity called the abomination of desolation, which boasts that through pride, through arrogance, through trampling of all that is loving, gentle, it will lead to all beings to death. Okay. Almost done. It's true that the square blocks the way, including blocking the way for the artist. It exists as an absolute form. That is true as well, but that also means that all other forms are unnecessary by comparison, since they are, by definition, not absolute. It heralds art. This bit turned out to be false. It heralds the end of art, its impossibility, its lack of necessity, its response. It represents the furnace in which all art burns, the pit into which art falls, because the square is an act of self-assertion of the entity called the abomination of desolation, which boasts that through pride, through arrogance, through trampling of that in the loving gentle leads to the beings to death. I thought I just read that. Okay. A pre-square artist studies his craft his entire life, struggling with dead, inert matter, trying to breathe life into it, as if fanning a fire. And this is how I feel Jonathon does. This is what he does with his work. He fans it, as if praying. He tries to ignite light within a stone. Interesting. He stands on his tippy toes, craning his neck in an attempt to peek where the human eye cannot reach. Sometimes his efforts and prayers, his carious, are rewarded for a brief moment or maybe for a long while. It happens. It appears. God, angel, ghost, demon. Okay, steps back, letting go from his hands those very things, those volatile feelings, those whips of celestial fire. What shall we call them? That they saved for themselves, for their wondrous abode that is hidden from us, having solicited this divine gift. The artist experiences a moment of acute gratitude, unhumiliating humility, unshameful pride, a moment of distinct, pure, and purifying tears, both seen and unseen, a moment of catharsis. But it surges and it retreats like a wave. The artist becomes suspicious.
Wait, quick interjection. Somebody mentioned, why do you pull your shirt? Because the Holy Spirit, when it manifests on me, tingles and it tickles. It's like goosebumps on my whole body, and so I'm like, it kind of tickles. It manifests on me, tingles and it tickles. It's like goosebumps on my whole body, and so I'm like, it kind of tickles. So for those of y'all who want to know why I do that, it's because I'm constantly buzzing. That's
okay. He wants to repeat this moment. He knows that next time he may not be granted a divine audience, and so his spiritual eyesight opens up. He can sense with deep inner foreknowledge what exactly selfishness, arrogance, conceit may close the pearly gates in front of him. He tries to wield his inner foreknowledge in such a way as to not sin before his angelic guides. He fully understands that he's a co-author at best, or an apprentice, but a crowned co-author, a beloved apprentice. The artist knows that the Spirit blows wherever it pleases. He knows that he is the artist, that he, the artist, has done nothing in his earthly life to deserve being singled out by the Spirit. Okay. A post-square artist, an artist who has prayed to the square, who has peeked inside the black hole within without recoiling in horror, doesn't believe the muses and the angels. He has his own black angels with short metallic wings, pragmatic and smug beings who know the value of earthly glory and how to capture its most dense and multi-layered sections. Craft is unnecessary. What you need is a brain. Inspiration is unnecessary. What you need is calculation. People love innovation. You need to come up with something new. People love to fume. You need to give them something to fume about. People are indifferent. You need to shock them. Shove something smelly in their face, something offensive, something repugnant. If you strike a person's back with a stick, they'll turn around. And I don't care to read the rest of that. It's pretty dark. Okay. What is... I'm missing something here. Turn around. Then when you spit in their face, and then I'll discharge for it. Okay. Okay, so now what happens here is that I send this to Gene, our brother Gene, and our brother Soap Ministries, brother Nolan. Now, I send this to Gene, and it was later on that night I ended up sending a copy to Soap Ministries. Now, I'm really baffled why I sent it to Soap Ministry. I don't know why. I don't know if he understands where I'm going with all of this, you know. I don't think anybody does at this point, because I really don't tell anybody when I'm working on something what it is that I'm working on, maybe a little bit here and there, but not as a whole. So I sent this out. Okay, so I show this to Gene, right? And so I continue because I'm not really done. I don't feel done yet concerning this. So I go and I punch in the black square, and I come up with Wikipedia. Okay. Now, really, everything here I already know, and I don't care to go over it again. The 0 point painting. Now, that's Aztec. That's coming up. Okay. So here real quick is the photograph talked about with the black square up underneath the corner. This is where the icon would be for the Orthodox Church. This is where they would place what was important, which really also stands out here too, is the black cross. This is truly, there's a lot here also concerning this. But there's the picture. Okay, so I'm going down. I don't really know what's going on, and I'm thinking, okay, why am I still here? I read a little bit of this, and it says Malevich had made some remarks about his painting. It is from 0 and 0, the true movement of being begins. Movement. And we talked about that with the Jaeger. Going down, I'm almost ready to leave. I'm thinking, okay, I'm done with this. I'm not finding anything. I come down, and this is what I read here. Okay, so in 2015, while viewing the black square with a microscope, art historians at the gallery discovered a message underneath the black paint. It was believed to read as "Battle of Negroes in a Dark Cave." So I remember I sent that to I sent it to Jean. Okay, and then there's another reference here from someone else who used Negroes fighting in a cellar at night. Well, I'm looking at this going, what? Does this have anything? I'm questioning, does this have anything to do with the KKK? Now that's my question. So I sent this to Jean, and I'm, pondering this, whether this is a connection, Battle of the Negroes in a dark cave, and then here it says Negroes fighting in a cellar at night. Well, to my surprise, okay, Gene had no idea what I was thinking, and so he sends me this. Okay, so now, Gene, really, we really don't know once we put it out there what and how it's going to unfold. We really don't. So let's just keep going. This is just, it was like, the dominoes effect. That's how fast this happened. Okay, so again, now I read all of that, and I'm thinking, the KKK, concerning this black square, the author. Okay, so then, Gene, you send me this.
Well, hello, Kelly. Now, I was watching one of Nolan's videos where he was describing what Kleck was wearing, and then he was comparing it to the Ku Klux Klan. And he was pointing out that Kleck was wearing all white, and that he had a pointed hat, and then he pointed to the logo on Kleck's shirt, and said that that would have been where the cross would be if it was on the KKK robe. Well, I contend that Kleck is wearing the cross emblem. Only, like with everything else he does, it's all covert. And this is why I think that way.
So, Ku Klux Klan, you see how they look? There is a X, or looking like a cross, with all white, head to toe, with a bonnet, spiky at the top. You see this? These are the features of Ku Klux Klan. Looking at this one, Ku Klux Klan, the thing about the cross, the point here, sunglasses there, sunglasses there. This would be where there was the cross of the Ku Klux Klan, white head to toe, and the bonnet, spiky at the top. Is looking like Ku Klux Klan. When you compare this with that, you see white head to toe with the megaphone in red. White head to toe, Ku Klux Klan, okay, false prophet, looking like this, looking like that.
Do you know, have y'all ever heard of the goddess Victoria? Go look at your Nike clothing. Go look at your Nike clothing. Go look at your Nike clothing. Nike is the goddess Victoria. Nike. Victoria, it's a goddess of victory.
And there you have it. Kleck is wearing the Nike logo on his shirt, right where the cross on the KKK outfit would go. And who's Nike? None other than Victoria, the goddess of victory, the one he claps to. And what do we see her holding in her hand? We see her with the staff that at the very top has the same cross that we see on the KKK robes. So in a nutshell, and as far as I'm concerned, Jonathon Kleck is dressed in the same apparel as the KKK. And the cross is there. It's only that it's hidden in plain sight so that nobody will ever recognize it. It's the Nike logo. That's your cross. That's what symbolizes your cross. So that was my 2 cents worth on this. So what do you think, Kelly? Does it fit?
Okay, so then this is what happened here, okay? It was right afterwards.
I don't know if this is going to do anything at all, but just trying to prove the spirit working. When I'm saying spirit working is to prove at least that there are spirits. So, because before trying to convince people that God exists, before trying to convince people that the true and only God is the Lord Jesus Christ, then you have to first convince people that there are spirits. So, might prove that there are spirits. I received a piece of information, and it's either that the internet, AI, artificial intelligence has become super duper intelligent, or that it's another coincidence. But so when the phone rang this morning, it was very early. Nobody in the house at the time to answer the phone in time, so we don't know exactly what's the call. But what I did is that I was led in spirit. I don't even usually do that because it's oftenly happened that we get calls that are from other places to sell us stuff and things like that. But publicity trying to sell stuff or whatever. But this time I was led in spirit to look for the source for the call, and I went on the internet. I typed in code régional for the number 716, and this is what came out. So it says, it's in French, but it's saying that it's coming from the state of New York in United States. So you've got state of New York is where the call is coming from, 716, state of New York. And then, do you know why? It got to be the real reason. Because this morning, at 7 a.m., getting a call from New York. Yesterday late at night when I was starting to record this video that I could not finish because it was too late and people in the house trying to sleep. So, look at that. I'm going to share something. Kelly sent me a link. I went to look at it, and then I didn't read it all, but you know, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to look at what my eyes are catching, and I'm going to work on that. And I was starting to, you know, to talk about, well, what I'm going to say in this video is what I was intended to talk about, but look at it, okay? The link here, and it says the square, the New Yorker. So, in other words, when you go to the site, the New Yorker, the square, I received this morning a call from New York, but I don't know what it's for. But what I can easily see is that I visited the site The New Yorker yesterday late. I visited the site The New Yorker, and this morning I get a call from New York. New Yorker, New York. 2 dots on one side, 1 dot on the other, and a line between. You see, 2 dots like this, 1 dot there, and a line between. And I was thinking, well, does it have to do with a number maybe? And so I went to search for Aztec number system, and look at this. You see this? This is exactly the same used by Ku Klux Klan. You see this? Ku Klux Klan? From Aztec. Isn't it crazy? Aztec, the relation that you were inspired to look for Aztec because Mayan calendar is actually Aztec. Jonathon Kleck was using Jonathon Kleck was using Mayan calendar, but actually Aztec calendar. Aztec number system, you see this, and it's going to Ku Klux Klan. It's going to Ku Klux Klan, going back to Ku Klux Klan. So now you got all the relation between Ku Klux Klan, Aztec, Jonathon Kleck raising his banner, and white head to toe, and you see Ku Klux Klan, Aztec number system.
So here we can hear him talking about the black square, old and new.
One mind, the One World Freedom Center. And when Clay shows you the One World Freedom Center, the letter O we're going to show you is actually the human brain. The human brain. Actually, the human brain. O we're going to show you is actually the letter O we're going to show you is actually the human brain. The letter O we're going to show you is actually the human brain. Wake up, folks. All right.
I just would like to end it with this here. Look at the square. Look at the squares, the white and the black. The Jagar report. The Jagar report. Carl Jagar. Look at this. The square. The white square in the black square.
Königsberg in Switzerland, where also Kim Jong-un, the Swiss North Korean dictator, lived, there's the Church of the Black Cross being part of the Königs Castle. And the Church of the Black Cross is a Protestant Reformed church.
Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Behold, I have created this smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether it be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one Spirit. For the body is not one member, but many. Thank you, Jean. Just knowing that you're behind the scenes and you're working and you're watching gives comfort. And this is how we work. No fear, be love, and give hope. Thank you, Jesus.